Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Robbos Gobcast Wrestling Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are all right. Just a quick heads up or rounder. We are back to doing 5 days a week. We had a little break because of COVID and FA Cup, and the Reading podcast got put aside for a time being, but we're back doing that now. Don't forget to watch yesterday's episode when you watch it today. And don't forget that we're back to normal as well. We understand that lockdown's hard and it's tough for a lot of people, but as I keep saying every time, we are here for everyone. And if there's anything you guys need, you know where we are. And it's been a very, very busy week of wrestling. First time I watched, I think it was 5 different wrestling shows in 1 week, which was a lot. I decided afterwards it's a lot. So
I can't even do that anymore.
I think I might have to give one of them up and just keep the highlights.
I mean, there was a time I was doing that, something like that, and I just remember one day I just couldn't keep up with. I'm just like, I'm too tired for all this.
There's one that I'm definitely feeling of not watching anymore. But let's get into it. We're going to talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I'm going to give a quick overview of my view of AEW. I'm going to give a quick overview as well of Impact. We're going to talk about Undertaker's comments. We're then going to talk about certain comments that are being made on some social media channels and some social media plays. And then we're going to do the...
There's a reason for that as well, because on the big... I don't know if you watch Big Questions, that comes on BBC. That was actually a question that was raised about people taking social media a bit too far when they say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a good time to address these sort of things.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. And then we're going to be the biggest prediction... I think, could this be the biggest prediction of the year? I think this could be. We're going to predict. We're going to do the matches because there's only been 2 matches announced for the Royal Rumble at the moment, and we're expecting it to happen, more matches to be announced this week. So what we're going to do is, on this podcast, we're going to predict who we think the men or the women's Royal Rumble winners. The matches we will do during the week, and we will do the graphic and send it out to you guys on Sunday, and show you guys what we think in certain matches. We know that Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens and Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre is the other one, but there's no other ones of the others going on so far yet. So we're going to go on to that as well, which I'm very, very excited for. I have an idea of who I'm going for, but my mind could change halfway. I could turn into Vince McMahon and change it the last second.
I'll tell you what you can do. I'll make it easier for you.
Go on.
So what you can say is that you can narrow it down to at least 2 people first, and say it'll be out of those 2, one of them will eliminate. Like you can put it down to 2 people, and you can say one of those 2 will win it, or be eliminated to win it. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. How's that sound?
I think we should. I think I'm going to go for the one person. I think I know who. Okay, we'll get to that at the point nearer the time. We'll go through it. Let's go on to Monday Night Raw. Let's discuss that. Randy Orton opened up with, I think, I look at Randy Orton's work and I look back through his career, and I think he's doing his best stuff since the Legacy era, and the time around then. Just the promo and the mask and just everything about this just feels special about what he's doing. It feels different and it feels epic.
I've been saying for a while. I think he's been on his game for the past few years now as a promo guy, and I think he's on top of his game. I think like he's really adjusting to the style, whichever storyline he's in, and I think that mask would be a good gimmick for him at this point.
Carry on. We just had some technical issues. Carry on.
Yeah, so what I was going to say was I remember it was my guy Dijak. He actually teased the possibility of people, having one join Retribution, which I actually would love to see because I think that would actually grade them a little bit. It'd be a bit awkward because he attacked my guy last year, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know how he could fall to that, but there's always a
Yeah,
way.
it's one of those things where just the promo work, and we'll get on to Alexa. We'll smoothly work into Alexa Bliss as well with the situation going on, and her character and the way she is at the moment. She is legitimately
Top
and
notch.
has
Top
become
notch.
one of the best not even women's wrestlers, women's characters in the whole of professional wrestling at the moment.
Personality is there. She's touching the she touches what a star needs to be. And I see people criticize her because she's short and everything. I'm like, so was Kairi Sane.
Mm-hmm.
So is Zelina Vega, and you go all what I'm saying. There's so many short women out there. Why is that a problem so much? It's a problem when they try and make them beat the bigger people. I'll agree with that. But if the character it's like this character. There's character, and then you've got the wrestling skills, and sometimes character just outweighs. I'm trying to say outdoes the physical aspect of it, if you will, in some cases. And I think in her case, her character pretty much adds that, it makes up for what she lacks, if that makes sense.
She is, for me, her character, especially what she did against Asuka, and especially with how Asuka sort of treated that match as well. Because I saw someone point out, and I don't know whether you saw this, you probably did, I probably saw it from somewhere you liked it on Twitter, was if you look at when she changed, when she was first in the ring with Asuka in the first part, her pigtails were down, straight, smiley, happy, like colourful lipstick, colourful clothes. And then as soon as the let me in bit happened, everything went black. Everything went, her hair turned into a mess. Her face just turned different. There was a different feel. And the way that she was selling her moves, everything just different.
I agree. The frustrating thing is, I will say, is that I know that when we get live crowds, I don't know how they'll pull that one off again, or what they'll have to do.
I think this is the only good thing about the COVID era, and the only good thing is you can do cinematic stuff like this.
I know. I'm saying that's the downside to it, because I know they'll have to save it only for special occasions, if that makes sense. And I don't know how they'll pull that one off, but like I said, I like the way where they're going with it, and simply put, I want to see more.
And she is, for me, and I'll be honest with you now, she's in my top 5 at the moment, women to win the Royal Rumble.
I'm gonna say straight, I've always rated her as a talent. I've always
rated her, but at the moment, for this year's Royal Rumble, she's in my top 3. I said 5, but 3 people who I think could win the Royal Rumble.
I see Mark criticizes her online, always saying stuff like, "Oh, she was never a big deal on NXT." That wasn't going to happen on NXT when you were fucking talking about bloody Sasha all the fucking time, But I'm not going to get into that. That's just a long one. My point is that there were so many people on NXT who, like, you got Carmella, who's really upped her game since NXT. You got Alexa, who's moved up. Dana, I can't really say Dana's moved up, but she's developed an identity of herself better than she was on NXT.
She didn't really have one on NXT. She was
she was with Emma, but she never got the chance to either. She never really got the chance to either. And also, you got Mandy and Sonya who've also moved themselves up in their own way. So to put it simply, I feel like in some cases NXT, well, mind you, NXT back then was only an hour show, so a lot of talents weren't able to show themselves. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I hate about NXT. I've said that numerous times. I didn't like NXT because it was too short, the show. I felt that it just needed an extra half an hour or an hour at least to give more people time to show. Because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, not everyone's going to remember what's like seeing this guy this week, not seeing him after like 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's that. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go on to another issue that's going on with Monday Night, and I think the only other good storyline going at the moment is the Hurt Business. We were going to talk about this
I'm
last
worried
week,
about
but we
that.
didn't have enough time. It's looking extremely likely that Cedric could be moving on away from the Hurt Business after their tag match with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus, was it the Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle, or Riddle as we now call him.
No, I don't say Matt Riddle. I was going to say was I was a bit. Yeah, I'm a bit worried where they're going with that one because I do feel like they can still do more with them. But if the plan is to,
I'm with you, but I can see 3 different ways they're going to go with this. They're going to either go with, they're going to drop the titles and then Shelton will go on a singles run on his own with Cedric trying to build another faction, or Cedric will go on and beat Lashley for the singles title and then he can go off. Or the way they're going to do this is the whole thing's just going to go and then MVP starts again. Or the other way, which I saw online, which I thought was a very clever idea, which I very doubt will happen, but I thought it was a very clever idea, was that if you ever look at the past, there's always one person in a faction that always thinks they're bigger than the others. And then they leave and they go off and they do their own thing, but someone else replaces them. So I remember the Nation of Domination, The Rock became too big for it. And then he went off, but the Nations stayed around for a bit, if I'm right, afterwards.
Yeah, I mean,
they
tried doing it with Ahmed Johnson, I believe.
That didn't go well. I think if I remember with Ron Simmons saying that didn't go well.
I've heard a lot about that one. I heard a few stories about him, him pissing off Ron backstage. And
so for me, if they do it in a way where Cedric leaves and someone replaces, okay, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, if Cedric leaves, go on his own, and to be fair, his character right now is hot enough for him to go and do his own thing, I think, and actually do a good deal of being a good solo wrestler.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
If they're looking at building him for the future, who would you replace him with?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that's what I'm hoping the direction will be if they're trying to give him the opportunity to move forward now. If that is the case, I'm all for it. I'm not going to hold my hopes up, but yeah. To answer your question, who I think should replace him, if it's up to me, I would give him a new, fresh face. And there's 2 names that come to my mind that I could fill in that role. Either Keith Lee or Swerve.
Yeah, I could see Swerve being one of them because he's being used quite weirdly at the moment in NXT, and I'm kind of not getting where he's going.
To be honest, I think they should move him because I don't. The 205, the cruiserweight title would look great on him and everything, but I think he's above that at this point. I think he could be a bigger star.
His character just doesn't make sense for me at the moment. Just for me as a standpoint,
really
isn't really. I get what he's trying to do. It's just a bit, But I tell you one who I would put on that list as well, who I would think would do really well under MVP. Ricochet.
Right, okay, I mean they tried getting him before. I mean I'm not against that one as well. I think he's a good.
I think somebody who could do Ricochet is someone who I really like. Ricochet, I really do. I love watching his NXT matches, and especially the matches at Takeover with Adam Cole, baby. But I feel like he needs something. I think he even needs to. He needs something like Retribution could be a good idea for him to go into. Him and Ali being the head of the table with all the others around him.
The thing is, it does look a bit awkward having little guys running a team of big guys, but I suppose you could work around that. But
sometimes it doesn't matter about size; it matters about the goal.
I'm not saying it is,
and
but
Ali, and if you, in my opinion, this is Ali's best work he's ever done in WWE.
I love Mustafa Ali. I mean, I've said it from I remember I saw him on 205. I wasn't happy the way they brought him in as a usual as a heel. He was a bit too, you know what I mean? He didn't really.
Yeah,
But
his
then when he
work that
moved
he did
into a
with
face,
Buddy Murphy, with Murphy,
hell of a face, in my opinion. He should have been 205 champion at least once. I love his work. I love watching it. Love his work he does outside the ring as well. I'm sure if you see him on social media, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, completely agree. I love, and then he is becoming a bit of someone that you can rely on, and you can see that WWE is starting to rely on him a bit more with some of the stuff they're giving him.
He's a passionate guy, and I like him.
Yeah,
I'm glad I bought his t-shirts before they sold out, or before he closed that shop on PWTs.
yeah. So let's move on to NXT. Big week.
Yep.
The Dusty Cup carried on with the Women's Dusty Cup. Started as well. Women's Dusty Cup, in my opinion, was probably the best tag match. Okay, best women's tag match I've seen in a very, very long time. And I think it was one of the best tag matches out of the Dusty Cup in the last 2 episodes of NXT. Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez versus Katie Canaz. I can't ever fucking say their names. What is their name?
Well, Casey Canzaro and Kaden Carter, man.
Yeah, them two. And I tell you what, that finisher, fuck me. I tried to sit. I've watched it. I'm not going to lie to you. 6 times. I've watched it 6 times, trying to work out how many rotations she does in the air before she lands. I tried to work. I gave up. I went fucking too many.
She's a hell of a talent. I'll tell you that right now. I like using this line whenever I get the chance to. She's the perfect example of homegrown talent done right.
Yeah. There's quite a few of that now.
Let me give you an example of that. Let me give you an example of that.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Casey.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair. Montez Ford.
Yeah.
I'll even say Angelo Dawkins as well, because he's proven himself.
I agree with that.
A lot of them, I'll say, did get the opportunity to work with indie promotions. Not necessarily indie promotions if you count Evolve, but because they got to work with talent outside of it, they got the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to maybe explore things and try things differently.
Austin Theory could be on that list because he was with Evolve.
He's not homegrown talent though. He's been on the indies for a few. He had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the indies for at least 3-4 years before he got signed. So I wouldn't really count him as much. He was on there. I'll say he was on their radar before he got signed, so that does count to some extent, but not as much.
Yeah. No. I get it.
Yep.
So and I have to say that was an excellent tag match. Just everything about it, and then Io Shirai
100%.
coming in and getting her own back on Mercedes. I do think that Io Shirai's title will end with Mercedes holding that title. I think that's how they're going to end it, because Mercedes is a legitimate kill you. She could kill you, but not only that, she could hold that title for a while.
Do you think she's going to be on Raw or SmackDown in the future?
No, because she went on Raw and then fucked off.
I mean, the storyline wasn't for her. Doesn't mean that she won't go for another chance.
I don't think she will. I think she's one of those people where she will only move or go once she's done what she wants to do. Once she's finished what she's set out to do. And I think what she's set out to do is, 1, build up the women in the ring better, because they've got very good wrestlers, very good in ring. They just signed 3 new women to bulk their roster even more, which, to be fair, NXT women's division is something else. I watched I'm gonna go on to AEW for a sec, because I watched it for watched the whole thing for the very first time, and I was not impressed at all. Sting is apparently returning back to the ring, where he is going in a street fight with Darby Allin against the Taz group.
Oh, right, of course.
Cody Rhodes versus this Prince.
What's Taz's son's name again?
I can't remember.
Makes me laugh just hearing it. It's so stupid. War names they could have given us.
Cody Rhodes said he was going to beat someone in 4 seconds, did the crossroads within a second, and then after that, it just I don't understand what's
carry
going
on,
on.
carry on.
I don't understand what was going on because
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. The person that Cody Rhodes was going up against had a really good fight, was a jobber, but then tapped out because someone was going to hit him in the face. And it's like, no. The only good storyline coming out of it so far is I don't know his name, is Dom Callis and Kenny Omega with Gallows and Anderson. The way that Don Callis is manipulating Kenny Omega against the Young Bucks and against his friends is brilliant. And I find that good. But the one thing that I found very, very wrong was the women in AEW, right? And it's very much a massive talking point. Women don't get any opportunity in AEW whatsoever. And that's very true. But when they got the opportunity, right, and this is what fucked me off, was there's this storyline going on that Morrow or Rusev is Orange Cassidy's getting married to someone, and Orange Cassidy's best man, Morrow, made him his butler, and I'm calling him Rusev because Morrow's a fucking stupid name. Rusev,
it's his real name, that's the thing.
I don't care, it's stupid. Rusev is now made him his butler and making him against. But what thing pissed me off, right, was when this women's match was very, very good, and I thought it was a very good between Penelope Ford and I can't remember the other lady's name, but the other one is a very short Russian lady who was very good, and I rate her very highly. But as soon as that match finished and it was cheap finish, Rusev gets in the ring and kicks them out and then cuts a promo straight away. And it's like, hold on. That's just disrespecting the whole women's division on his own. And he's got a wife at home.
It's funny you say that. Because if they do that in on Raw or SmackDown or NXT for the matter, people say, "Oh, we're disrespecting women's division." Yeah. So where's that criticism on AEW?
Oh, I made that abundantly clear. I'll put it up there. Oh, it was fucking ridiculous.
I'm laughing at that one because I swear to God, every time AEW does something, it's quiet. Like you don't hear anything. There's crickets.
It's mental because it just made no sense. It made no sense. And then if you compare that to Impact, I'm going on a rant now with other shows.
No, that's fine.
Go with Impact Wrestling, which I watched, and you had the new women's tag team division, who, let's be honest, epic tag team division they've got. Valkyrie it has left Impact now. She recorded her exit where she killed someone and then got arrested and left.
Really?
I don't know whether you watch Impact, but Impact are quite funny. With if you leave the company, they kill you off. They did that with Ethan Page, which was hilarious.
With that stuff. I just don't bother with them because
it is very, very entertaining. It's very good. And Tommy Dreamer did the best lines that I've ever heard. Okay, and
he said that. Yeah, I remember we said. I heard it. Yeah.
So at the end, when he turned around and someone goes, she gets arrested, gets out of the building, is no longer there anymore. Tommy Dreamer goes. Someone goes to Tommy Dreamer, where do you think she's going to go? He goes, well, hopefully she'll go to the Jacksonville Penitentiary, where she might be able to develop herself and get better and then moving forward. But knowing us, she'll go to the Stanford Penitentiary, where she'll be good for 2 years, and in the third year, she'll be written off. I went, shots fired at both companies. And I went, fair play, Tommy Dreamer.
I like him. I just wish he didn't do that stupid top knot for a haircut or something.
He is brilliant. Impact Wrestling in general is a very good show. Matt Hardy returned for the very first time to the Impact Zone with Private Party, where he walked in and said that he was the one that saved Impact from going out of business, and people need to be bowed down to him for the work that he did to keeping the company alive. And to be fair,
I'm gonna answer that. How about no?
He's spot on that. He saved Impact from going out of business. He then helped them by moving with his contract. But
I'll be fair, his gimmick was fun for his time, but let's be honest, it was only good for that time it was there.
And his gimmick now, by the way, which he wanted to go off and do Brother Nero, Brother Nero's Jeff, Brother Matt, whatever fucking name he is. He's not even doing it anymore. He's now a manager. He's now a manager of Private Party, where he takes percentage of their win. Anyway. Impact Wrestling is very, very good. I would recommend anyone to go and watch it. Very much so. The storylines are very good on that, and it's got me back into watching Impact Wrestling on Tuesdays. I watch it on Tuesday.
If it entertains you, fair play to you, mate. I just don't have the desire or the interest.
If you ever get to, I would highly recommend watching Hard to Kill, and watching it all the way through at some point, because it is very good. And they've already announced the new pay-per-view coming up. It's looking like Kenny Omega is going to be in that pay-per-view as well. So it's looking like, and Tony Khan turned up on Impact Wrestling. And he seems to be a very good heel for a company. He does very good on that. But let's get back to NXT. I want to talk about Finn Balor. He seems to have found himself a new tag team partner in Kyle O'Reilly, who is going up against the tag team champions this week in Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. People keep saying they're teasing Finn Balor going into the UE and maybe permanently. They're saying that maybe he might be going in there and doing it permanently because of all the history that he's had with Adam Cole being in the Bullet Club. Where do you see this? Do you see this as Finn Balor doing his own thing and just finding a partner and then someone turning their back on each other? Or is this a possibility that he could turn in as Bobby Fish keeps getting injured and he's not helping himself at the moment? Do you think that they're going to replace Bobby Fish and make it a 5-man group so it helps Bobby Fish to get better? Or you can't put Balor in because Adam Cole's the leader, and you can't have two alpha males in Finn and Adam.
I mean, we've seen that before in the past times when you have two leaders. Eventually, one of them gets jealous of the other, so someone kick somebody out. They could do that. I'm not against that.
I'm not against it. I'm just thinking it just be difficult to book for a while.
I'll say it would be interesting to see how, because I've seen people say that they can still keep developing UE on NXT for a bit. Okay, maybe that's the way to go. Keep them going before they want to move them up. It's a tough call. I mean, I'll say this: the problem I always had with Fish was that I always knew it was a bit injury. I could tell, when he first got injured, this would be a problem for him. And you have to be honest, the guy's not getting any younger. So
it's one of those situations where I think UE will go up after WrestleMania. I think that's when they're going to do it, because I think the crowds are coming back then. There was announced that there's going to be 30, between 25 and 30. I can't remember the actual number.
They said 25,000, but it might be 30,000 depending on how the other
COVID situation. And also, I think they're doing the same as the NFL, where you have to be vaccinated before you go in, and you have to wear a mask and compete with social distancing as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're going to have the rules set up. I think they're going to look at how other stadiums are filling out before they start putting people in. So I think that's still a smart way to go.
Well, the next weekend, not this weekend, no, not this weekend coming, the weekend after, is Super Bowl. And it's going to be at Tampa Bay, where they're hosting WrestleMania. So I presume they're going to watch that, see how the crowds look in that, and see how much noise they can generate from that, and then work out what they're going to do from there, I presume.
It's the smart move. Let's be honest. It's the smart move to go.
And Vince McMahon's very good at watching how other people do it and then make his own decision. And he says that that's what he does. So I can see that happening.
I think they should take a page out of New Japan Pro Wrestling and see how they do it, because they've been having crowds now for a few months now.
Yeah, but have you watched it?
I've watched it. I know what they're doing. They can't make noise. They can only clap and stuff. So that's understandable. So what I'm saying is, it's weird, but I mean, the thing is, though,
I get it.
Then they were doing that before. They used to do that before they made noise anyway. Yeah, they used to just stay there in silence and let the guys let the guys do their stuff in the ring, and they'll applaud every time something fancy happened in the ring. So I feel like it's not that big a deal for them. But that said, I'm saying that I'm not expecting a bunch of Americans to do what, you know what I'm saying? To keep quiet.
No. It's like when we went back to football over here. When we went back to football, they said you can't really chant, you can't really do much. You can sit, clap, and do stuff like that. But it's one of those instincts you're going to. You're going to clap. You're going to chant. You're going to call out the wrestler, call people arseholes. It's one of those things. It all helps if it's social distance. That's
the thing is though, you can't. It's a case of you can't really control everyone. But
No.
I will say no. I will say this though. I will say that because there's not that many people there, they can still keep an eye on who's big disruptive and everything.
Yeah.
So they can still do that.
And also, I want those people in the front row that have always been in the front row in every WWE event. The Brock Lesnar guy and the guy that dressed up as Hulk Hogan. I have to see them again because unfortunately,
the guy, Mike Cochran, isn't it? Yeah.
I never know his name. I just know him as the Brock Lesnar guy.
I see him on social media, so yeah.
So let's go on to the last thing, the main event: Thatcher versus Ciampa. The
Great
Fight
match.
Pit.
Great match. I loved it. I will say, hang on, I have to be critical about it. I will say it was a bit obvious that Thatcher was going to win that one because he's only won. You know what I'm saying? It looks like that's going to be his. I don't want to say Hell in a Cell. I'm not going to say Hell in a Cell because Taker never always won Hell in a Cell himself. No. But I feel like that will be his playground.
Well, you could say it's the same as Undertaker's casket match because Undertaker never lost a casket match.
The reason why I said Hell in a Cell is because it's pretty much that kind of case.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I will say though, it's a bit hard to differentiate really the big difference. I mean, the only difference is that you start from the top and then somehow find your way to the bottom, and then at the bottom there's no ropes.
There's no ropes.
About it, really.
There's lots of violence in there as well.
I think they can be a bit more violent, but
I think they can. But I think they're trying to build it up instead of just going full mental with it and then seeing how it goes. But it's looking like
sorry.
Yes, I don't know. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say because I remember they were saying on commentary, which I thought was quite interesting, and I think it should have been brought before if they ever did that before. They mentioned that this was actually similar to what was done in the old regional days where it was called a Lions Den or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that going for the throwbacks is a good idea to keep the cage.
Yeah, and Vic, do you know what? I want to give a shout out to Vic Joseph, Stu Bennett, and Beth Phoenix. Fuck me, they're a great commentary team, especially Wade Barrett. I love him.
I like Vic. I thought he was a good commentator. I do think at times he was a little too. I mean, I think he's got years of experience anyway because I looked him up. He has been commenting for years.
Did he do the World of Sport Wrestling on ITV? He was the general manager and commentator on that on ITV, if I'm right. When they brought it back for a bit. I watched it. It was really shit.
It was fun first time. Now, what I was going to say was the only problem I probably had with him when he was on Raw was that when he came on Raw, when they tried redoing they tried doing a free man commentary thing. The problem which I had was that it was too many face commentators, and there wasn't one heel until they changed it a week later. And I think that kind of put me off at the time with Dio Madden before they took him out. And I think he could have been a good commentator, but I think he was too. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't. Really
and I feel like this commentary team is epic. So it's looking like now Ciampa and Thatcher are in the Dusty Cup as a tag team, which they went on to 205 Live, which is pretty weird as Thatcher's 225. And they won on there as well.
I felt bad they took out two of my guys, Arya Davari and Tony Nese. I love those two guys, so I felt bad for them having to be the ones to put them over.
Yeah,
not as a bad thing, but still.
But I think it was the right decision because I think the storyline really does pave the way for them to maybe go on and win it now.
I think it's the right way to go because it makes them like better friends, better enemies kind of thing.
Yeah.
Good friends, better enemies kind of thing, if that makes sense.
I think I'm really intrigued now to see where it goes. So let's get on to SmackDown.
Yep.
My God, did Kevin Owens do one of the best promos I've ever heard? Sat in his car saying he wasn't allowed in, and just everything he said, you felt that everything you felt about that, and it's like, fuck yeah, all right.
It feels more like he's getting more. I feel his character is really coming to, because I remember he said this, when he met Dusty Rhodes years ago, was that the first thing he always used to talk about was his family.
Yeah.
I think a lot of his characters revolving around, that everything he's doing in the ring is for, for his kids and for his wife. So I think that just adds a realistic layer to it. That makes sense.
Yeah, and
So much of a character.
he really does bring that character to it. But Paul Heyman versus Adam Pearce. When I first heard that, I went, okay, could be interesting. I'm excited
I
to
knew it
see
was going
this.
to be a swerve. I could tell it was going to be a swerve because Heyman's not going to wrestle.
No, and I was like, okay,
It was
this
the
is
last time it happened.
interesting. And then
Yeah.
they did the ultimate switch, and I thought it was very clever by them as well. When he went to the ring, Phil Everett went, card subject to change, and then Roman Reigns come out, and I went,
I was hoping they'd give Pierce just a chance to show what he can do in the ring, and he didn't. I think he got hit like one or two moves, one punch, and that was about it. But it's good to see he's still in ring shape. He's in tremendous shape as well. If you look at him from his videos from the past, looking today, he hasn't aged. I've said it before. He doesn't even look 42.
No, but he come out. And
I reckon I actually have a feeling he might get at least a few of the run in the ring because I think they've teased it a few times. They have to give him at least that one chance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping they do. I think he's earned it. I'd like. A part of me would love to see him build up a faction to take on Roman's team. That could happen.
It could happen. I could see that happening. Maybe at Mania if someone from SmackDown doesn't win.
And what would I'll just say I'd like to throw in Shinsuke, KO into it, Sammy, and Brian.
Oh, Sami Zayn's a legend. I love that bit with the sign.
That'd be like the ultimate. That'd be like the. Yeah, I love it too. That'd be like the ultimate indie team, innit?
Yeah, it would. Reginald versus Sasha Banks.
Oh god. I'm actually gonna. I'm not gonna lie. That did make me laugh a little bit. I thought
Reginald. He's actually a very good wrestler.
I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing at the fact that he was at the way he combines his acrobatics and then it's basically the stuff that the people on cheer for on the indies where it's over the top no selling acrobatic shit. I was like, he definitely fit in with that kind of stuff.
I think that was done on purpose. You can definitely tell that there was a reason why they did that. And to be fair, it was very, very good. He come out looking a heck of a lot better than he did before going in.
It makes me laugh when he gets towered over by Sasha, which is not even a tall girl herself, even in her high heels, and he looks so small. He looks small even in front of her like that. I'm just like, this little guy's still gonna get beaten up one way or another.
Yeah. Which I could see what they're doing with Reginald and Carmella. And I rate it.
I like it. I want to see more.
So yeah. Let's go on to the one last thing about SmackDown is we talk about SmackDown a lot more because how good of a show it actually is. It's a match of the night I want to talk about easily. Cesaro versus Ziggler.
I wouldn't say match of the night myself.
Oh, right.
Cesaro.
What are they? See, Cesaro for me at the moment is someone that Cesaro should have been. And he's doing it. And he's doing it to a point where it's like, okay, they're actually doing something with Cesaro now. Okay. But this is a massive but.
Go on.
Where are they going to go with this? Because if you look at it, okay, he's gaining a lot of momentum at the point of when the Rumble is. So is Nakamura. The issue we have at the moment is there are 5-6 people who can legitimately,
it's one of those situations, isn't it?
Win the Rumble. Where are they going with this? Because at the moment, Big E had an excellent match with Apollo until he got interrupted by Sammy just kicking them both of them square in the mush. But where can they go with Cesaro? I don't think you can have two heels at WrestleMania going for a title. So you can't have Cesaro.
Well, they don't have to have him. They don't necessarily have to have him as a heel, though, either. They can easily turn him if they wanted to. Keep talking. I'm just putting the charger on my laptop. Keep talking.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah. I get that. But then, do you know what? There's like 3 people. I'm struggling with the men's one.
That's the problem I have as well, because I hate when they do that. When they get me hoping it's this guy, then they bring us. I'm like, oh, I hope it's him now as well.
And then I bet you like someone like Reginald is going to win the Royal Rumble.
I'll laugh if that does happen.
I would piss myself. Just the meltdown on Twitter would be more epic than anything.
I don't know if I'll say I don't know if it will bother me as much as Otis winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. That one was.
I quite like Otis winning it. I was like, yeah, all right. Oh,
Really?
talking of Otis, Bianca Belair, fuck me. Carrying Otis.
I laughed at that one as well.
But do you know what the thing was, right? It wasn't the fact of, right, so I was like, okay, that she's got to carry him. All right, okay. But it wasn't even a struggle. It wasn't even a struggle, and I went, what?
Let me just repeat what I said 20 minutes ago. Homegrown talent done right.
She is something else. So SmackDown epic, another epic show. Very, very good.
Top notch.
Before we get on to Undertaker, I'm going to leave this over to you.
Go for it. Yeah.
Just about what some people are saying on social media and stuff. So I'm gonna leave it over to you to do it.
Yeah, I feel like people need to be reminded that you need to watch what you're saying online, because when you say something, once you've put it there, it's there forever. It's not just me who's watching it. There's millions and millions of people watching who read what you just said, and you may not think it's offensive, but it really is. I'm not going to get too much into this one, because this guy I'm talking about particularly, I'd seen him dropping comments numerous times. It was always the same thing. I'm not going to even repeat what he said because it pisses me off so much. What I'm going to say is this. What annoyed me probably the most was that if you saw the guy who was posting, what he was posting, there was a picture of him and his son. So you're telling me, is this the example you're setting for your kids? Simple as that's all I'm saying about that. And the reason I thought it's also a good idea to mention this is because I watched the Big Questions the other day. Yeah, I know I'm boring. I watched the Big Questions, and they were talking about social media and how people post abuse online towards other people and say stuff like threats and whatnot. And it's just, I think people need to be reminded that simply that watch what you say, because you never know who's reading it, and you can really offend someone. And if somebody is doing so, I'll say it straight. Don't be afraid to call them out for it and tell them straight what you just said. I did that to this guy, and I just said, you've pretty much mixed homophobia and racism in one comment. And then he tried retorting back to me before he blocked me, like the coward he is, by saying I'm a know-it-all. Okay, if I'm a know-it-all, then obviously I know better than you. I know better than to be posting abuse online. Then I completely out of topic. Simple as. Yeah, I just don't want to see any more of that. Simply put it. If you see anyone posting stuff like that, which is off topic and is going into racism, homophobia, any of abuse or any of that lot, I say it straight, call them out for it, and don't let them get away with it. And the problem which I do have as well is I think social media doesn't do enough about it. They say they have these rules and regulations and this and that, and yet I still see people posting stuff like that, and it really does my head in. And I think that's something that doesn't need to be done about it. I think that this has been taken too lightly for too long. That's all I can really say about it right now. I apologize.
I think that's the perfect way to.
I had a lot more to say about it the other day, but I've just trying to shrug it off. But it's one of those things which, unfortunately, I can't. Will always be there.
You should never shrug it off. And what you said and what you did on social media, calling this person out, and what you just said just then, I don't think no one can ever disagree with what you just said. So you're absolutely spot on. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And good lad on that. Right, let's go on to Undertaker. He's been in a bit of press.
Can I just say something about that?
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
You know, I remember because I'm gonna tell you straight. I hadn't even been on social media all that day. You know, I was off the phone 'cause I was trying to catch up and everything, and I was just I was off the phone for the whole day on that one. Then I remembered that he was going to be on the Joe Rogan, and I found I was going to be on the Joe Rogan show, and I was like, I've wanted that one for ages because Joe Rogan's interviewed so many top names like that, and I watched it, and I'm going to say it straight. He told some interesting stories. There's so many things on that show he was talking about, which I thought was great to hear. Now, to the part which he said that, which sparked the entire social media, I'm going to be honest with you. When he said that, he missed days when the guys were a bit more, what was it, scruffy? What did he say again? He said, oh man, he said it. He said it in a funny way. I can't remember what was it. It wasn't scruffy. It was I have to look it up for a second.
No, that's fine. And we're back.
So yeah, it's when he said, sorry, yeah. So it's when he said that he missed the days that the business when the guys were crusty. Honestly, when he said that, I'm not trying to sound like a dick or anything, but when he said that, it literally just went over my head. I didn't even think about it until people kept bringing it up online. Because honestly, when he said that, all I thought to myself was, okay, so he's one of those guys that misses the days when the guys are a bit more in your face and all that kind of thing, and were willing to get into fights backstage and be like, oh, who the fuck do you think you are, this kind of thing. So I was just like, okay, fair enough. That's just his opinion. It doesn't really bother me as much, because that's just his choice. More money to him, I guess. More, that's how it feels. Obviously, I will say that I'm glad to say that the guys of today are in a much more safer environment and that they've moved on from that and that everyone gets on with one another, which is a good thing because that means we're above that. You know what I'm saying? But then obviously I came on social media and everyone's just banging on about the same thing. Oh, it's this, oh that, and this and that. And I'm just like, and the thing which made me laugh the most was everyone was starting to say, oh, cancel Mark. And I'm just like, last year you guys were all crying and saying thank you Taker, thank you Mark and everything, and all of a sudden this year you're all saying cancel. And I'm just like, what is with you guys? Some people I think take comments way too seriously than they need to. People need to understand that people from the older generation will always have that mindset of my time was better than this lot. I prefer it that way, and because that's where I grew up in, and that's what I think it should be. They're always going to say that. He's not the first guy to say that. Plenty of guys have said that before him, Ric Flair, San Martino, etc. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. There's no,
Yeah, the only issue I had was it's the old school mentality that it's just I think he needs to sort of learn and go, well, let's be honest, back in your day was a bit shit. Everyone was trying to stumble on everyone to go and get an opportunity. Everyone was backstabbing everyone when now people are trying to work together. Video games are the only release that people can have these days.
Well, you have to understand though, that back then that was the they were trying to make money back then. These were at the end of the day, these were guys fake fighting to try and make money. So they had to somebody was going to blackball one another, try and make. I'm not saying it's a good thing. We have to understand that was the environment back then. Like I said, things have changed since then, which for the better, might I add, for the better. But I think, in my opinion, honestly, to me, I think he was really just trying to say was that he just missed the times when things felt a bit more real. Because I remember, I hate quoting this guy again because I hate, I'm talking about Jim Cornette. Basically, he said back in the day, like if you saw guys back in the day, if you saw them walking down the street, you wouldn't want to take them on and fight. Today, a lot of guys don't have that, quality about them, if you will. If you saw them walking down the street, you wouldn't, you wouldn't really, you wouldn't be scared to try and pick a fight with them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's, I think I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, I just, the way I looked at it is, it's not the first time I've heard that before. It doesn't bother me as much. I'm not going to complain about it. All I'm simply going to say is things have changed for the better. Yeah. I'm happy. I wish it, I will say I wish he could have just said, I'm happy for the new guys. I wish them nothing but the best of success, as most guys should be doing. He didn't do that, but I'm sure he did mean that. And I'm hoping that at some point somebody will call him up. If they, I'll say this: anytime he ever goes in the locker room, he'll always get respect. So I'm sure that if anyone wants to talk to him about it, he'll
I
talk to them
presume it
about it.
because if I've watched the documentary, he has a good relationship with the New Day.
He does.
And so I
Everyone's acting like
presume,
all of a sudden he's against everyone.
yeah. So I presume if anything happens, Kofi or Xavier or Big E definitely are going to go, "Oi, what are you on about?" And then they'll probably have a conversation and clear the air, and that'd be it. But anyway,
I don't honestly think it's a big deal, but it's just the thing
I
I hate about
understand. I
online is that
understand what people are saying. I get what people are saying. I understand it to a certain point. It is blown more out of proportion than what it should be, but I get it
100% proportion.
because it doesn't help when you have a former wrestler moaning. It's a bit like Ryback because apparently he's going in AEW.
No, hang on a second. There's a big difference between
Oh yeah,
Ryback.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a massive difference. Undertaker has respect, and Ryback's a twat. So there is a massive difference. But I feel sometimes he can do what he wants now. It's Mark Galloway now. No more Taker because he's retired. The Undertaker's retired. So I just hope that. I don't know. I couldn't give a shit, really, to be honest. Right,
honestly,
let's go on to.
I will say this. Let me just say that I think people who are complaining about everyone watched the full interview. If you watched the full interview, which hour Joe Rogan, it was a great interview. He told a lot of interesting stories. He sounded like one of the boys. And I think you should do yourself the favor and actually check it out before
Exactly. Don't just watch snippets. I haven't watched it. I've just read what I've read. So I know you watched it because you sent me a message saying that you were watching it. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about it.
Let me just add one thing. There was this guy on Wrestle Talk who was watching and he kept making these stupid comments like, "Oh yeah, I bet you did. I bet you." I'm just like, you're a skinny nerd who probably has never been in a fight in your life. So who are you to make a joke about him? Simple as.
Do people still watch that? I thought it was shit after Thingy left, and now it's culture holic. Oh, fuck knows.
I don't watch that crap even myself, and if I do, it's only for a laugh. And I'm just gonna say the guy who's making jokes about it really should be thinking twice before he does that. Because you
got to be careful what you say on the internet. Right, Royal Rumble. Here we go. Predictions. We're gonna do okay. Let's do the main title predictions first. Actually, no. Do we do? No. It's not that important. The men and women's Royal Rumble is more important. We will do our other predictions behind closed doors and release it on Sunday afternoon, where we will be building up to the Royal Rumble this Sunday. Very excited. I do love the Royal Rumble. One of my favorite pay-per-views.
Do you think there'll be any surprise entrants?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping there's more. I don't want legend. I want more returns than I do legends.
The thing is, though, like even if whoever does the show up is not going to get much of a reaction anyway. Let's be honest.
No, you just get a reaction from the Zoom call, the Zoom people in the audience, in the Thunderdome. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for this one. Right, I'm going to you first. Who should we go for, men or women?
Women.
All right. Who is your pick to win the 20? Hold on, before we get into it. Hold on, I found something on. I think I'm going to lose it now. I found something on Twitter, and I want to go through it just before we get into. Just do a little bit more of a build-up for the Royal Rumble, just a little bit more, just to keep people happy. Also, when we record this, when you guys listen to this, it is 74 days until WrestleMania. Just so, I'm very excited for that as well. So here are the previous winners of the Royal Rumble, starting from Hacksaw Jim Duggan, then Big John Studd, Hulk Hogan 2 years in a row, then Ric Flair, then Yokozuna, then Bret Hart and Lex Luger, joint winners with the next year Heartbreak Kid. Then we had Heartbreak Kid again, Stone Cold with 2 years in a row, Vince McMahon, then The Rock, then Stone Cold, then Triple H, then Brock Lesnar, Batista, Rey Mysterio, The Undertaker, John Cena, Randy Orton, Edge, Sheamus, John Cena, Batista, Roman Reigns, Triple H, Randy Orton, Asuka, Nakamura, Braun Strowman. The greatest Royal Rumble is the putting that in for some reason.
Yeah.
The Man, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, and Drew McIntyre. Have all won the Royal Rumble going into it. So, who are you going for to be the 4th ever winner of the Women's Royal Rumble? You can talk through your options before you go and pick your one.
I'm gonna narrow it down to 2 people that it could possibly be.
Are you good?
Right?
Yeah, you can narrow it down to 2, but by the end of this podcast, you have to pick your one.
Okay, I'm thinking it's either gonna be Rhea or I don't know. I think for some reason, part of me is saying Rhea Ripley, but I'm also thinking that it's gonna be. Part of me thinks there's also possibly might be Lana involved, but no, I don't think that'll happen.
That's a good show, actually. She hasn't returned
Yeah.
yet since her injury, has she?
Yep. So that'll be interesting. Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, when I said Rusev, when I was going on my rant about AEW, I remembered Lana and I was like, she hasn't even come back yet. But anyway.
So yeah, I think it'll either be Rhea or Shayna.
You go Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, Rhea or Shayna.
Okay, so if you had to pick one, who are you going for?
I'll go Rhea.
Okay.
On to you now.
Yeah, I can't spell her name. But anyway, I've just shoved it in the Google Doc so I remember to put it on the thingy later on. Okay, so I'm in between about 4. So I've got Rhea Ripley. I've got Bianca Belair. I've got Bayley.
Right.
And I've got Alexa Bliss.
Okay. Thing is, I don't think Alexa needs to even win the Rumble.
No, I don't. Opinion. But okay, so the other thing I'm thinking of is Alexa winning the women's and the Fiend coming back to win the men's.
I'd like to see him do this thing where she just disappears and then everyone's like, she'll go eliminated. So does that count kind of thing? That'd be interesting.
Or the Fiend comes back to save her from getting eliminated.
Like what save Mandy, yeah.
So see the Rhea Ripley one. I agree with you. I feel like there's a story written there where Charlotte will probably eventually defeat Asuka to get the title, and then at WrestleMania, it will be what was meant to have happened the first time with Rhea versus Charlotte at Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium. Bayley, I think that's the only thing she hasn't won. I think she's won everything else. She's won the Women's in the Bank, hasn't she?
No, I don't think she won that one. Can't remember.
But I can't remember. But I remember her saying on the Stone Cold podcast or Stone Cold show on the WWE Network that's the one thing she really wants to do is to win the Royal Rumble. So, and it's building Bayley up as well again because she's so good at the moment. It's ridiculous. You've also got.
I'm not a fan, but okay.
I really like Bayley at the moment. I think he's excellent. Bianca Belair. I think the way they're building up with her Chronicle that I'm going to watch soon on the WWE Network.
I can see them giving her a good showing, but I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on her just yet. I think it's a bit
I don't know
early.
either, but I feel like she's growing more and more. Maybe they might do it, maybe they're not. But Alexa Bliss.
Maybe SummerSlam.
Alexa Bliss is there as well. And then you said about Lana.
Yeah.
as well. Could come back and shock everyone and win the Rumble.
It'll be interesting.
But then could she legitimately go on and defeat whoever she needs to go on to at WrestleMania?
That's the thing. I don't see her as a legit competitor on that one yet, but you know what I'm
Not
saying?
yet. She's got some time to go before she convinces a lot of people and myself of that. Okay, so fuck me. All right, I'm going to narrow it down to two. It's going to be between Rhea Ripley or Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
And also WWE bringing back Fastlane, so there's another pay-per-view that.
All right.
Before Mania got announced the other day. I think they said bring back another pay-per-view, and I think at one point I was thinking, please bring back the Great Balls of Fire, just because of the logo was epic. Like a massive
God.
Okay, so I am. Fuck. I think
What's
you're
on
right
your
on
mind
the
these
Rhea.
days?
I think there's a number. Do you know what? This is the most competitive Rumble I could think of in a few years. That legitimately, could Becky Lynch come
Yeah,
back?
definitely.
Becky Lynch? No, she's just had a kid recently. She won't be back.
No, it's too early for her. She's only just had a kid, man. Come on, you gotta be real. Maybe next year, but not this year.
Who's out? Like could come back a surprise and win it. Mandy Rose could win it. She's got a good character. Sonya Deville.
I don't see her winning anything, right? No,
Sonya Deville.
they put her into. I'd like that, but at the moment, the current story she's in, she's playing GM, so I don't see that happening this year.
Yeah, good point. Okay, fuck it. I'm going to type it before I even say it, so I can't go. I can delete it, but I'm not. I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Okay, I'm happy if Rhea Ripley wins, and I will be over the moon if she does, because I think she deserves a big moment like this because of how much her character has grown and how much she's grown with it. But storyline wise, Alexa Bliss should win it. Because I think that this is hard. To be fair, I'm fucking happy for whoever wins it, to be honest. So here we go. Men's Royal Rumble, you'll go first. Again, because I choose. Who have you got? Before you name your one, who do you tip who could be in there?
So I'm going to narrow it again down to two people. It's going to be either Shin or Cesaro.
I've seen people say that they think Brock Lesnar's coming back for the Rumble. Anyway.
Oh God, I hope not.
I don't think he'll win it. I think that might set up for saying that might happen at Mania, but I don't think he'll win it.
I hope it doesn't happen because it'd just be a bit.
Do you know what? I would love Lesnar to get eliminated by either Bobby Lashley or Riddle.
That's a smart move. That's a smart move if they did that way. Yeah. I know that he doesn't like Riddle, so I don't think that will happen. But you never know. Things can change.
Money talks.
And bullshit walks.
Exactly. So you've got it between Nakamura and Cesaro.
Okay. But I will also say I can see Bryan just about making the last mix, but I don't think he'll win it. I don't think he's winning it this year.
Okay. So who are you tipping?
Shin.
Are you tipping him to win it twice?
I'm going with Shin.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go through my brain and tell you where I'm thinking of this. So
okay.
I think you're right in Cesaro and Nakamura. I think Keith Lee will be around. It could be a viable choice.
I can see him getting some eliminations in.
Bobby Lashley definitely could be someone who I feel like could be around there. I feel like there's a few here who I really feel could really do a good job. Brock Lesnar coming back, I've said. Randy Orton could win it, but I think The Fiend returning and winning.
I don't think he needs to win it either.
Well, I don't think he needs to win it. I don't think he needs to win. I don't think Alexa Bliss needs to win it. But I'm just thinking to have a cool overall story of the Fiend and Alexa Bliss winning would be something different and something epic.
That would be cool, but I just don't see it as necessary right now at this point.
I think Daniel Bryan is up there with someone who I think could win it, with Nakamura and Cesaro. Okay, so my top two, I'm going to narrow it down to two. I think it's going to be between Nakamura and Daniel Bryan.
Fair play.
And I feel like because he's coming to the end of his career or end of his time with WWE before he goes on to becoming a producer / coach on NXT and becoming more fatherly at home.
Yeah.
I feel like that if you're looking at story-wise that can come over the mighty Roman Reigns and defeat him by someone who has the heart and fight, Daniel Bryan is the person. I think Nakamura's storyline with Roman Reigns is someone as in Roman Reigns would have more beef with Nakamura because he eliminated for him from the year that Nakamura won the title, won the Rumble, and also he would have legit.
And I can see him saying, yeah. So I was gonna say I can see him using because he never won it, the title. I can see him using that as an opportunity to try and throw shade at him and everything. So yeah, it'll be
and you can also say that Roman Reigns would have more beef with Drew McIntyre for Drew McIntyre tossing him over last year's Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch last year's because of Edge. Return is just epic. Edge could return. I think. Think there's a lot of talk that he's back.
He's most likely coming back.
So I've made my choice. I've written it down.
Yep.
The person I am going for to win the 2021 Royal Rumble, going on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium to face Roman Reigns for the Universal title, is the Yes Movement in Daniel Bryan.
That's it. Simple as.
Or as he's actually called, Bryan Danielson, which is fucking weird.
The American Dragon.
Which really confuses me.
Yeah.
So that's our Rumble. So let's quickly go through it. Gulam has picked Nakamura to win the men's and Rhea Ripley to win the women's. I have picked Daniel Bryan to win the men's and Alexa Bliss to win the women's. To be fair, Alexa Bliss winning doesn't really make that much sense.
It doesn't. That's the thing. I like her, but I don't see her winning it. That's the thing.
She could still legitimately destroy Asuka anyway because of the character.
That's my point. I don't think she needs the victory.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a rule in now. We can change one of the two picks that we've made now, and we can never change it again, and we have to stick with it. And we only have the next 2 minutes to decide if we're going to change it or not. And if we don't, then we're sticking with it until after the Rumble. Are you happy with your picks, and are you going to stick with your picks?
Yep.
I'm not.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay. I'm going to do something here where... Okay. I've got... Yeah, I'm going with it.
When you're ready.
Yeah, I'm picking my winner. Right, yeah, I'm done. I've picked. So I have changed the women's Rumble. I don't think Alexa Bliss is going to win, but I don't think it will harm her character. But the person I've gone for the 2021 women's Royal Rumble. Ding dong, she is here. Bailey.
If that makes you happy, more power to you.
I think it is time now for Bailey to win the Rumble, go on to WrestleMania, destroy Sasha Banks, get back that women's title, and Sasha Banks goes crawling over to Raw. Or I've heard rumblings as well. I've heard rumblings as well that Ronda Rousey might be returning. I've heard rumblings.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening. I want it to happen because I really like Ronda Rousey, but
I like her too, but she needs an audience, so it's not going to happen like that. She's an attraction like that. So.
We will see. We will see. Right. Thank you guys ever so much for joining. Thank you ever so much for coming on. We will look forward to seeing your reviews and where you think the Royal Rumble is going. We will release the predictions on Sunday with once we've seen all of the match card that comes out. I presume Bobby Lashley will probably have to go one-on-one with Riddle for the United States. Maybe might be one of them. And Big E versus Sammy versus Apollo will probably be another one. Triple threat match. But we will see when that happens moving forward. But thank you guys ever so much for joining us. We wish you wish you a merry fucking Christmas. I wish you a very merry Royal Rumble. And we will see you guys next week, where we won't be talking about Raw or SmackDown. We will just be reviewing the whole of the Royal Rumble. I'm very excited. I might be very tired on the podcast recording it, because we record it on the Monday, and I'll be going halfway through it. But because I watched NFL last night and I'm knackered. But we will see you. I watched it till like 3 a.m. I think it was into. And then my son was up as well at the same time. Anyway, we will see you guys very soon. And all peace, love, and care. And bye.